Welcome to the Alchemy Experience podcast, where transformation isn't just talked about, it's lived. I'm Erin, and around here, we're turning breakdowns into breakthroughs, pain into power, and survival into serious thriving. Whether I'm flying solo or vibing with a badass guest, we dive into all the things on health, creating beautiful relationships, and building wealth. We're keeping it real, raw, and ridiculously empowering. It gets a little juicy, a little bit wild, and super inspiring. This isn't just another podcast, it's your permission slip to evolve loud, proud, and on purpose. Let's go light the world on fire. Welcome back, guys, to a quick pit stop episode here on the Alchemy Experience. So glad you're here today. We're going to dive into something that I haven't talked too much about on this podcast, but it's something that is really an underlying tone that is discussed or prevalent in every single episode, especially when I am interviewing some pretty badass humans. And the question that I ask myself often is, why do some people bounce back so quickly from stress or from significant experiences that they've had? They bounce back so quickly when others shut down for days. And sometimes we look at this and we just think that they're magical or they've got some sort of superpower. And the truth is, it's habit. It's all about the habits that we integrate and ingrain in our daily practice. And today I'm going to share 5 habits that emotionally resilient people practice and how you can start applying them immediately. So let's talk about this. Emotional resilience. So we talk a lot about emotional intelligence, which is a whole nother realm, but this plays a part in it, right? In order to be emotionally intelligent, we have to have some emotional resilience. And so this is the ability to adapt and recover from stress, from failing, from an unexpected change. And I know personally, I have gotten so much better at this in so many ways, personally, professionally, as a mom, as a wife, as an entrepreneur. It has really been something that I think in other roles that I've played in my life professionally, I've struggled with. And this is something over time, like a muscle that you build, that I have ingrained through all the neural pathways in my brain through practice. So resilient people don't avoid challenges, they navigate them without falling apart. So it's really looking inside yourself and saying, who do I want to be during this challenge? Right. A lot of times when I see a challenge coming, I now, instead of sort of resisting it, I now welcome it. And it just sort of alleviates the pressure and the resistance that I'm carrying. So I want to share a quick story about one of my clients. Um, Her name is Lauren, and I know she would love for me to share this story, but she is a fellow social worker, and she came to me, gosh, it's got to be over a year ago now, where she was really burned out and really looking for something to shift within her. She knew she was meant for more, but she didn't really know how to achieve that. And she kept feeling this resistance. She kept having these sort of emotional, just letdowns of that she couldn't really get out of this looping pattern. I mean, this girl is magic on legs. Like, she has written a book, a memoir. She she's an incredible human. She's been through so much, and she also has this magical just peace about her, this energetic peace about her. She works with kids and teenagers in the social work side of things, and she just knew she's meant for more. And so she needed to shift that internal dialogue. She went back to work, even though she did the work on herself through the trauma that she had gone through and the experiences she had had. And she wrote this whole book and didn't even really share it with family and friends. It was just like, oh, I did this thing. Yeah, this thing was really fucking hard and really fucking amazing. and people need to hear about it. But she sort of shrunk herself back down. And even though she leveled up in certain ways, that internal dialogue was still there and she was keeping herself small. And the process I walked her through in my coaching method sort of helped her get back to herself. And 3 months later, we sat down and said, like, what do you really want? You know, um, who do you want to be during this journey? Not just the importance of, the outcome, but who do you want to be during the process? And literally 3 months later, she wrote a whole nother book. She wrote a workbook to go along with the book that she had already written. She is now numerous speaking gigs all across the country. She is still leaning into working in the social work field, but she's doing these other things that's sort of shifting who she is in leadership and her presence and she's gained clients from this. And in the coaching side of things, she is really leaning into the leader of her own life and creating her own life and in love with every second of it. And I'm just super proud of her, but it shows the resilience when you allow yourself to step into that and own that emotional state, you can push through anything. And it is amazing. So let's shift. Let's talk about the shift of how you can do this and how ingraining these 5 habits into your daily life can massively shift who you are and what your life looks like. So let's dive in. The 5 habits. So habit 1 is I like to just call it a mini mental. A lot of people laugh at that, but we used to joke around in the counseling side of things. We just joke around about having a mini mental, breakdown and a mini mental status exam and all these things. But I do my own. I do my own mini mentals, and it's just really a few minute body scan. I go through from head to toe what the physical feelings that I'm having inside of my body. Then I'm doing an emotional check-in with that so that my mind and body are connected, and I ask myself what I need. I highly recommend doing this in the morning. For people that are just starting out with this, I will have them do it at night when their body's kind of calmer, because some people in the morning when they get up, they feel rushed and like, they feel a little heightened. So learning how to do this at any time is really great. Shifting it when you're able to the morning, giving yourself a handful of minutes when you wake up to walk through this. But resilient people start their day with emotional awareness. They don't just go throughout their day on autopilot. So that's habit 1. Habit 2 is having micro boundaries. So these are boundaries in general are key, right? And over time, as we grow, as we evolve, we learn how to set them and we learn who we need to set them with and all of that jazz. And check out my episode on how to set boundaries. But for today's purposes, just know we're kind of diving in for a minute on just setting really small, easy boundaries. Resilient people say no. Resilient people say no early and often. They do it before they hit burnout. So you got to kind of learn where that threshold is for yourself, and it might change and evolve over time. But one small example is turning off notifications. I use that feature on my phone all the time. When I'm with my kids, sometimes I'll turn off my notifications if I'm doing something, if we're out and about doing something, or, the other night we were at the beach and I turned off my notifications for a little bit just because I really wanted to dial in. Turning off my notifications when I'm working with clients, turning off your notifications at 8 p.m. I don't always do that, but sometimes I do. Especially going in and doing the settings for all of your social media to not be notified when somebody sends you a message or likes something on a post. Because I tell you, the more energetically aligned you are, and the more you're putting out your authenticity, the more that's going to ripple through the world and come back to you. And you're suddenly going to start to have a lot of engagement and a lot of notifications. And that can really feed up your energy quickly. So making sure you're setting those boundaries with yourself, not replying to emotional texts immediately either. If something's triggering you, if you receive a text or a call or something, like take a minute, Give yourself time. Give yourself 24 to 48 hours if you need to. So setting boundaries is key. The third habit is movement, not motivation. So daily movement is key. It doesn't have to be from a state of motivation. 90% of the time that I'm working out or moving my body, I'm not fucking motivated, guys. It's just, I know that I ask myself, what does my body actually need? And if I'm feeling stuck with tense energy, it means I need to move. It means I need to stand up and stretch. It means I might need to go for a walk. I mean, I work out every day and sometimes it looks different. Sometimes it's me taking a walk. Sometimes it's me just simply stretching, swimming with the kids, walking the dog. Sometimes it's me doing a quick hit workout or, um, a quick run, or sometimes it's me lifting for an hour. It really depends. But it keeps you emotionally regulated and you're building strength. And when you feel strong physically, that can really equate to the emotional state. So it'll lower your cortisol levels. It'll increase your endorphins, increase your adrenaline, increase your dopamine, increase your serotonin, right? Those are all things that help us improve our happiness and our well-being. So, habit number four, I'm going to say this might be the most important one and the most under discussed or under uh, least, I guess, taken advantage of or just sort of glazed over habit that I think we don't really talk about as much. And that's connection over perfection. So, emotionally resilient people check in with at least one person a day, if not multiple. That might be a text like, hey, proof of life to your best friends, or a call to somebody that maybe you've been thinking about them and you haven't talked to them in months, but you're like, hey, I just want to see how they're doing. Or you're really struggling and you need to catch up with your coach, or a quick voice note to somebody to just say, hey, thinking about you. I do that all the time. That is something that I ingrained in my calendar, and now it's become really super organic. So resilient people know the emotional strength that they can have through being social and not solo. We are tribal creatures. We are tribal beings. We are meant to be tribal. We are meant to be in communication with people. Yes, I love my alone time. Yes, I love my downtime. Yes, that is important too. But connection over not being perfect all the time and just saying, hey, I'm struggling, or hey, this is shitty and I need help, or I need some support is key. So I'm going to go on a tangent for a second because there's a lot of research and I can geek out on this. And so I'm going to keep it as brief as I can. But we have neurotransmitters, right? And receptors running through our brain. Okay. And these have specific chemicals of oxytocin and it's vasopressin, I believe is how you say it. Now, I am not a doctor by any means, or a psychiatrist. I don't prescribe medication, but I've worked in the field long enough that I know what a lot of meds do and how they interact and interrupt the neurotransmitters in our brain, right? And so these chemicals inside of our body, there's a lot of research and a lot of research lately about these two things, and they increase and or stabilize our nervous system. And how that works, the studies are showing that when we are in connection, especially in intimacy, not necessarily romantic partnership, but yes, that too, but also just like um friendship, like good, intimate friendships, right? Where you feel like you really feel safe to share things with people, with friends that like believe and breathe life into you, but also tell you, hey, you're fucking up. Like this is, you got to get out of your own way here. Those connections, um, those often, the feeling that you have from those is because of these chemicals. And so when you handle a really tough problem or you face a situation or struggle in your life, and you're able to brainstorm or mastermind or face this problem together, hand in hand with your partner or a best friend. You sit with them or you have a call with them and you're just like, crying to them and they're helping you process it and they're helping you move through it and they're giving you some advice or they're just sitting in the storm with you, right? When you can move through those struggles or those situations with people, these chemicals are released in your body. And what it does is it sends messages to your nervous system that this person is a safe person and you feel more connected with them on a deeper level. And that is so key, right? When you can find a partner that you can just feel so safe with in anything because you've been through so many things with this person and gotten through it, it's magical, right? And so this is one of the key components and habits that I have found that I've really focused on this the last couple of years of reaching out to people that when I think of them, when something happens or I see something, I hear something, or all of a sudden their name or face pops into my brain, I stop and I just send them a message and say, hey, just thinking about you. Or, oh my gosh, this happened and I'm thinking about you. And that has been something I've gotten really good at the past couple of years or so. And I'm telling you, my happiness has increased. My relationships are stronger. The relationship I have with my husband is amazing. So these chemicals are responsible for that. And in order to increase those and to regulate the nervous system, it's you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to say the right thing. You just have to connect. So that's habit number 4. And that is what I find in this season of my life to be the most powerful habit that I have adopted and um, really feels helpful for me. And the 5th and final habit is reflecting. So I do this before I go to bed. I also do this when I get up in the morning with that first habit that I was talking about of kind of setting the stage for the day and sort of tapping into that. But I do this twice. I do this in the morning or I look back the last 24 hours to kind of see how I feel and what I found gratitude in. And then I sort of look ahead of what I want to find gratitude in and what I want to ground myself in for the day. But you ask yourself what went well, right? What went well? So I do a 24-hour look back. This is really important for the brain to sort of create a new neural pathway within your brain of if we know that the next 24 hours we're going to be seeking gratitude and looking for the positive things in our life, then it's going to get done, right? If we know that tomorrow night we're going to look back on today and see what went well, we're going to be looking for the positive things. The brain is such a powerful tool. If you're looking for negative, you're going to find it. If you're looking for positive, you're going to find it. This is where that reticular activating system in your brain comes in, the RAS. It's responsible for like if you're driving on the highway and you're really wanting to buy a new Silverado, right? And you're looking around, you're like, I wanted a blue Silverado. And now you see 17 blue Silverados on the highway. That's because they were there all along. The universe didn't just fucking drop them in your lap. They were there all along. You just weren't looking for them. And now that your brain is looking for that because it's keyed into manifesting something, you're going to start to see it. You're going to start to see it everywhere. This is why people in the entrepreneur space and the coaching side of things, when I'm really engaged in my niche and I'm really doing well and things are moving for me, I start to see people in my field on social media that do the same thing I do and that are doing it well. And that is not to be looked at as competition. That's to be looked at as complementation. The universe is giving you that because it's actually showing you and reflecting to you what you are seeking and what you are doing. It's an amazing thing. And when we can start to switch that and not look at it as competition or look at it as negative, when we can double down into gratitude, double down into reflection, and double down into seeking out what we want to be and who we want to be, we're going to find it and we're going to move the needle. Gratitude builds resilience. People that are resilient finish their day in a calm, not chaotic state. So ground yourself in gratitude. So pick one habit, guys. Take one of these five, try it for 3 to 5 days. Pay attention to how you feel. Emotional resilience doesn't come from these big, huge, audacious moves, right? It's a bold move and a bold statement to try something and to dive into it and to take this habit on. But it comes from making those small little decisions every single day. Those 1% shifts, that 1 millimeter shift ends up becoming a whole new you, right? So small daily decisions, messy action, backed by intention with a clear vision is what creates change over time. So today, start with one of these. Take one, go through into the weekend, work through it, try it. Let me know how it goes. So if this helped you, if this was interesting, if you found value in it, send this to a friend who might need a little boost of resilience today. And don't forget to follow us. Don't forget to subscribe and don't miss next week's episode. And we're going to continue to dive into logistical things that you can do to prevent burnout and also have some amazing episodes where people are going to be interviewed here on the Alchemy Experience on how they live into their life and the things that they do for success. So until next time, love you guys. Go set the world on fire. Thanks for tuning in to the Alchemy Experience. If this episode lit something up inside you, go ahead and share it with someone who's ready to rise too. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and connect with me online on all social media at the Alchemy Experience. Because transformation loves company, and together we all rise. And hey, don't just survive this week. Thrive like you frickin' mean it. Let's go let it up.